One of the key critical things that they are checking out in those designs is your setbacks. When you're doing your design, make sure that you follow the right setback. The law rather says that you must have 3 meters right, left, and then in front is going to be 6 meters. Do you also know that if you bought a corner piece, the setback for a corner piece is different from a regular plot? Especially when someone is buying a 300 square meter and you're buying a corner piece, is a disadvantage to you. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Tea Talk with Goodness Usman, your #1 real estate talk show in Africa. Thanks to each and every one of you who keep watching every Sunday when we upload a new episode. Honestly, you guys are the real MVP, and I must say thank you to all of the engagements we get on each episode of the show. Without you guys listening, watching, giving us feedbacks, we will not be here. And hey, your feedbacks are quite important for us to be better. And hey, to every new subscribers on this channel, we are delighted to have you here, and we're saying welcome to you. Thank you so much for subscribing, and we hope that you're getting value for your time being spent on this channel. So let's go right into the topic of the day. However, before we go, we're going to perform our ritual. Yes, it's Tea Talk with Goodness Usman, and there is no tea talk without actually sipping our tea. So this is what we do. You, wherever you're watching me for, I always say that you get comfortable, relax, so that you can engage fully in the conversations that we discuss on each episode. So you need to grab yourself a glass of wine, a glass of water, fruit juice, whatever works for you, or a cup of tea like me, especially green tea, or maybe a cup of coffee. Whatever suits you and rocks your boat works for us as well. So shall we go ahead and perform our rituals very quickly so that we can get into the matter of the day? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with my green tea. Shall we? Ooh, sorry, I just have to do the third word. Whew, 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 whew. That has a lot of ginger. Far from the regular. Anyways, the last 2 episodes, I informed you guys about the amnesty that the Lagos state government had given to people, individuals, developers who had built their houses or are building houses without a building approval. That they have decided to give them a 3-month amnesty, and then they have between May to the end of July to come and take cover, meaning they should come and use this duration to pay and get their building approval. After this amnesty period, there will no longer be mercy, according to the Lagos state government. Now, I got a lot of encouragement from that, and I got a lot of questions. So today, quickly, we're going to go into those questions. I'm going to treat them, and then we'll talk about them. Now, I want to put out a disclaimer out there. I, Goodness Usman, and my team, we do not in any capacity project ourselves as professional in certain fields that we're not. Yes, we are a real estate marketing and consulting firm, and we carry out extensive research on everything we talk about here. However, that does not also mean that we are professional on some of the topics that we discuss here. Yes, this explains what I always say, that I will not speak for a surveyor. I will still advise you that even though this is what you're supposed to do, you should still engage the services of the core professionals, because it's not my core. So let's put that disclaimer out there. And that is why we always suggest that if you're a pro out there, put it out there. Educators, we are also here to learn. On the show, this is not we coming to project that, oh, we know the core professionalism that has to do with a surveyor, that has to do with a legal personnel, or that has to do with a project manager, or that has to do with a government official, etc., etc. We are not projecting ourselves in that manner. I just need to put that out there because a lot of people come here with so much expectation, expecting us to know everything. We don't put ourselves out there as if we know everything. We can only advise you and point you in the right direction. So we're always trying to be corrected, and that's why we take positive feedbacks, not feedbacks that come in a very unruly manner. We don't accept hateful feedbacks. It's a free zone. Yes, it's a friendly love zone. No hate whatsoever. I get it. When you put out things on social media, it attracts all sorts. But then, please, let's make this place a safe community. And then safe community not just for us, but for other people. If the comment section is not healthy or is becoming toxic, they don't want to comment. And we need their opinion. Their opinion matters to us because, like I said, we also learn from you guys who are the professionals, right? Because we have professionals on this page. We know professionals who are our clients, so we don't tend to say that we are professionals in the field. Like I have a lawyer who is based in the US now, and he practices in the US. When he's telling me how the law works in US, I will listen. I'm learning because I am not a lawyer, first of all. And even if I'm a lawyer here, the way it works, our judiciary system works in Nigeria is completely different from the way it works in the US or in China, in Hong Kong, or in Europe. Right. So I will learn from someone like that. So that explains what I mean. All right. So back to the question. A lot of people have called me and say, "Oh, you have given us the entire list of what it is required for you to get your building approval." Yes, I've listed them. There are about 9 or thereabouts. And hey, because of time, I'm not going to go ahead and list it again. If you missed that episode, just check in the description button. You will see the link there. Click it and go back and watch it. Now, what I'm here to answer is the people have been asking for cost. A lot of people ask me, oh, what's the cost of this? What's the cost of that? What's the cost of getting a building approval? That's what I'm here to treat now, based on the research and the findings I've done so far. And these findings are not just research online. I don't do research online because sometimes you can find information online that are not accurate. So I do research from the people who actually do the work. You know, there are 2 fractions of professionals: the ones that do the talk and the ones that actually do the work. So yes, some people that do the talk also kind of know what they're doing, but I'd rather back it up with people that actually do the work. So what I mean is, if you're talking to a surveyor who have not really had experience with certain things in terms of carrying out search and doing certain kind of documentation in Alausa, then it's better to talk to the people that actually do the work. All right, so I'm quickly going to treat the first one. Like I said, I'm not going to go back and tautology listing those requirements anymore. If you want to, we've done in depth on that in the last 2 episodes. So yes, the question is the process. So I'm going to take you back to the processes, okay? Which is one, I have a couple of clients now that I'm going through that processes with them, meaning I'm on the journey with them. In the past, I've had clients who do their journey themselves. I'm not involved. But recently, because I also want to learn firsthand, I'm now in the journey with them. I'm now engaging people. I'm in the processes, each stages I'm getting involved so that I can truly just learn. It's not just about coming here to tell you guys, but also getting the experiences as well. All right, I'm as plain as it gets. All right, I always say things that I know, and then I don't try to say things I do not know. And that's why you see that when I say things that is being said by somebody else, I always quote the person and then put the name out there so that you know that this is where I'm getting my information from. So yes, what do you do? How do you even begin the processes of getting your building approval? That is what we're basically talking about today. And then the cost. I'll tell you the ones I can tell you the cost. The ones I cannot tell you the cost, I will tell you why. So first of all, it starts with you purchasing the land. When you purchase the land, the next process is for you to finish your commitment as to the contract. Honor the contract. When you're done with honoring the contract, which is the financial aspect of it, paying for the cost of the land, paying for the survey, paying for the deed of assignment, and paying for developmental fee. In some cases, before you get your before you take physical possession of the land. For some estates, very few actually, they will allow you to take physical possession of the land without you paying for developmental fee. But it seems to be a thing now in this part of the listings that we have. You have to pay for developmental fee before you take physical possession of the land. Now, when you now take physical possession of the land, meaning that not just what they're showing you on your layout, the estate layout, they show you on the layout. Sometimes we even do pre-allocation, okay, before physical allocation. Like I have clients who say, oh, show me the layout. This is what I want in so estate. This is the plot I want. This is that one. This is that one. This is that one. Make adjustments and all of that. So they already know where their plot of land is. but they don't know where it is physically. So when they are done, they go and take physical possession. So when you take physical possession, what you're seeing on paper in the layout, you're seeing it physically. This is my block 1, plot 1, okay? Or maybe you're in block M, plot 2, 3, 4. You now see where plot 2, 3, 4 is, okay? The beginning and the end. Now you now see the actual topology of the land. Because sometimes you see when we do videos, some parts are dry, some are not dry. So if you fall into the ones that are not dry, or even the ones that are dry, you now see the actual situation of your own portion of the land in the estate. Now, when you have that, the next step for you is to sandfill the land. Now, people usually think that the next step is to carry out a soil test. No, please, you cannot carry out a soil test yet. Now, I stand to be corrected because I know that some professionals might be watching me and then they want to go in the comment section. Please, if you want to also correct me with respect. I'm telling you guys respectfully. Yes, because I know some people that are, I don't know, they sound a lot frustrated with their life, so they just want to lay the first chance they get. They always look for people online to lay their frustration on. Please don't, if you want to correct and put out your opinion, put it out respectfully. I'm saying it to you now respectfully. Yes, I'm not supposed to address it, but honestly, it's becoming important because we're in the age of mental health. Because what I do, it requires a lot of me to be stable mentally. So yeah, I have to put that there. I'm sorry, it's a show and this is the free zone. All right, so you have to, yes, from what I've learned, from what I've seen, from what I'm currently going on with my clients. Like I said, I'm also in a learning phase right now where I'm learning these entire processes. I have 3 different clients in different estates that we're going through that processes right now. You will have to sandfill before they're able to even carry out certain checks. So now, even when you're carrying out your building plan, you're going through the process of your building plan processes, right? As in submitting your building plan requirements. They will come to do assessments. They will not even assess a land that is not yet sandfilled. That's what I found out. I was shocked actually when I found out, like, okay, why that? But of course, there's the technicalities to it. So you have to do the sandfilling of your plot and then carry out a soil test. Now, the soil test is one of the requirements that is needed, that one of the documents you're going to submit when you're going for your building approval. Now, before you get to the process of acquiring and taking possession of your land physically, you also can start talking to your architect in the process. So some of this process is not 1, 2, 3, it's not step by step. You can be doing different steps at the same time. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So you would have had an architect, of course, by the time you know what you want to, because you must know what you want to build. You have something in mind, you have a design in mind. And for you to bring the picture to life, you need to talk to an architect. So you'd have, I believe by this point, you'd have spoken with an architect. The architect would have carried out your design, you would have had the conversation, and then your design is ready. Your design is one of the major requirements when it comes to getting your building approval. It's one of the documents you're going to compile together. So your number 1 step, apart from taking physical allocation of your land, is to get your design ready. So you're going to have your architectural design, your structural design, electrical design. They have a couple of it together. It's going to be ready and then ready for submission. Now, in that design, let me state it too. One of the key critical things that they're checking out in those designs is your setbacks. When you're doing your design, make sure that you follow the right setback. The law rather says that you must have 3 meters right, left, and then in front is going to be 6 meters. Do you also know that if you bought a corner piece, the setback for a corner piece is different from irregular plots? Those of you that love to buy a corner piece, some of you don't even know, but some of you know. Now, for those of you who do not know, like me, that is different. Especially when someone is buying a 300 square meter and you're buying a corner piece, is a disadvantage to you. Yes, first hand, it is a disadvantage to you because it just reduces the space of what you can build. If you're building a semi-detached on the 300 square meter, you're okay, you're good. You will still be able to manage and have enough space. But if you're building a fully detached on a 300 square meter, please do not buy a corner plot. If you want to buy a corner plot, let it not be a 300 square meter, maybe a 350, a 400, because that's the issue I have currently now with one of my clients in Pico Real, because we have a 300 square meter and it's a corner plot, and when he wants to build, he has to put a 6 meter by the side. Because it's a corner plot, he has to put it by the side. It has to be 6 meter by the side and 6 meter in front. Unlike a regular 300 square meter plot, it will be a 3 meter by the side, 3 meter by the side, 3 meter at the back, and 6 meter in front. But for a corner plot, it's 6 meters in front, 6 meters by the side, because it's a corner plot. Okay, a corner plot. That's why. You know how a corner plot is. I wish I have like I said to my team, we need a board on this kind of technical conversation. I'm going to have a board and just do the drawings and show you guys so that you can understand. But for now, make do with that. Okay, so it has to be a 6 meters by the side and 6 meters in front. So it has a disadvantage when you're buying a 300 square meter. It will just reduce your chances. The house is going to be small. The only advantage you will get is at the second floor, you can kind of, expand it a bit. And I mean, how much can you really expand it? So if you look at all of those houses I show you guys, the fully detached duplexes that they build on a 300 square meter that has so much parking space for like 5 cars, and the sitting rooms, the rooms are large and everything, it is not a corner piece. That's why they're able to achieve those houses. If they build it on a corner piece, it will not be as spacious and as big as that. So I just need to clear that. And I know a lot of you don't know that. So I need to clear that. So when you're buying a corner plot, make sure that you're buying a full plot. It's way more of advantage when you're buying on a full plot. If you're going to buy a half plot that's corner plot, then it means that you're not building a fully detached. You're building maybe a semi-detached. Because if it's a semi-detached, that's a different ball game. You're going to have more space, kind of. There's a chemical jumbo to that. But I realized that for the 300 square meter corner plot, when you're building semi-detached or you're building a terrace on it, of course, you can always maximize the space. I mean, the engineers understand what I mean by that. That's that. Now, your design, that's very critical. In fact, they check it. Now, this is another hick to it. Do you also know that a lot of the time, some people in the past would have watched me, I was like, what's she saying? She doesn't know what she's saying. I did one approval and I got my approval. I did that. Do you also know that when they come for assessment, they will know, they probably will keep quiet for you. When you now go ahead, they give you, tomorrow it will not be a problem. Why? Because you'll not be asked, you'll be penalized for it. They might some people will submit, that's another thing. Some people will submit a different design and build a different thing. There's always penalty for those things, and people pay heavily for it. So the question is, do you want to do what is right, or you want to ready to be, going back and forth? And one thing with gambling is that the day you cannot get your way around it, what happens? You lose at the end. You lose totally. So why trying to, is how it's been done, when it depends on you as an individual, whether you like to do the right thing or you don't like to do the right thing. It's completely up to you, your choice, your investment, your money. All right, so moving on that. But I strictly advise that nobody gets a different approval design and then build something different. I mean, you can tweak some things. I get that internally, but aesthetically, especially those building, those those setbacks is very, very important. I know that some people say, Lagos say 3 meters, some people do 2 meter, they try to do 2 meter, and sometimes they can get away with it. Anyways, because if we stress this now, you start giving me examples. So that's that on that. So when you get your design ready, you follow the labelings right. They have so many labelings you have to do. You have to label, you have to make sure that your labelings are right, your dimensions are right, your readings are right, so many things. Once I get someone who is an architect to come here, or a town planner, they can show us a drawing and explain why and why and why and why. I won't go into those technical details, but this is from what I just learned, and I'm relearning by the way. All right, so when you have your drawing ready, you get your, I said that you would fill the plot, and then you're getting your soil test. Now, people have asked me cost of soil test. First of all, it depends. They charge cost of soil test based on location. That's what I found out. It's based on location. If you're building on the island, you're building on the mainland, we're on the island, exactly, the topology of the place, But basically, it's around, it depends on who, but averagely around 400,000 naira, okay? Now, I said this, so disclaimer, because that's why I don't like to put figures out there, because some people will just this oversabi and then come and say, that's it depends on who you're contacting. But averagely, from what I've seen, the many people I've talked to who carry out this soil test is like around 400,000. Some can be slightly above, some can rarely below, but it depends on who you know. But a lot of the time is above that. I have 2 people who are very experienced. That's what they do and all of that to help you carry out the soil test. Now, what I also discovered is that you don't have to do one soil test once and that's it. Yes, that's what I realized. You have to do soil test sometimes 2 or 3 times. Okay, so when you sample a land and then it settles, you carry out a soil test. Professionally, they advise that you carry out another one at another level, especially if you're sampling a larger part of the land. Okay, if the land you're dealing with is not just one, okay, it's not one plot. They advise that you, again, I'll bring in someone that can talk to us about that specifically, because it has a lot of technicality, and I don't want to be misconstructed. I don't want somebody to say I said this and that and then follow through. But what I can do is, if you are in need of somebody that can help you carry out the soil test and generate a report. So it's not just about, it's the report that's the most important thing. So these people, they carry out, there's the processes to it. They carry out machines to your site and do several checks, and then they take the whatever they got from your site, the soil itself, they take it to a lab, and then through the lab it takes through processes and all of that to generate an adequate result. Do you understand? And it's very, very important to carry out the soil test before you start building. I know so many people, because of the cost, they avoid carrying out a soil test. But I mean, if you're building a house that runs into hundreds of millions of naira, what is 500,000 naira? What is 600,000 naira that you use to do a soil test? It's like you're buying a car. You buy a car of 40 million naira, and you say you don't want to do plate number of 80k or 100,000 or 150,000 as the case is, or you don't want to do insurance, or you don't want to do the papers. It doesn't even make any sense, right? You're opening yourself for so much risk. Theft, for instance, if they steal that car while you're driving without ownership, then it's gone. Like we say here, Otilo. So when you're building, I don't know. I'm just a structured person. I believe that right things should be done in certain things, especially. You don't joke with stuff like that. It's like your health. You don't joke with your health. You need to check what's wrong with your health, your organs, if they're functioning well, and all of that. So you want to build your beautiful home or a house you want to sell. Why don't you just carry out a soil test to understand what the soil is saying? Because it's from the result that you'll be able to know the kind of foundation you would even do. We assume that on the island, nobody should do anything normal foundation, of course, because of the terrain. You should do RAS foundation and all of that. But who says that this is soil test that should tell you the kind of foundation you should even do? Should it be full RAF or half RAF? I know that they said there's half RAF foundation. All of those things, the soil test that will tell you. And it's better you do it, let a professional carry it out, not somebody that does not know what they're doing, so that you can have a proper test and then the proper result actually. So when you're done with that, you compile every other. Of course, I believe that for you to have taken the physical possession of your land, the survey would have been ready. Because the survey, in fact, you need the survey self. You need the survey before your architect carries out your design. So yeah, because the dimension of how the plots, these plots vary, and they have different dimension in terms of the sizes. So yes, you need all of those, except if you have asked before your survey is ready, just to fast track thing. When your survey is ready, of course you have used it. So you gather all your other things. Your tax clearance is important. I know that somebody asked me for a diasporan, how does it work? Like I said, if you have a town planner here, the person will explain to us. You're hearing firsthand from the person. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is who truly is supposed to help you with the process of a building approval. I've seen so many people. Some people will say lawyer. Some people say their lawyer is doing their building approval. I'm like, you say what? Some people will say their architect. Again, you say what? Some people will say their surveyor or their town planner. Now, from what I have seen and from my experience, lawyers will argue this, but I don't think a lawyer has any business with building approval. No, I mean, again, in the spirit of just doing things not properly, not doing things professionally, to be honest, what business does a lawyer have to do with town planning, with getting a building approval? It's like a distinctive thing. It's like a doctor. What does a doctor have to do with going to get a building approval? So please, if you have had your lawyer done it in the past, it's not like they cannot do it, but they have no business doing it. That's first of all. In fact, an architect, from what I've gathered, has more, because the architect is the one that designed it. So he can explain certain things. He can understand certain parameters when it's being talked. He can explain when it's being asked a question. But a lawyer does not. It's just like me now. You tell me to call an aviod or building approval. What will I understand when they're saying, can you cause circumference? Why is the window, can you call? Even though I have an engineering background, electrical, I'm not a practicing engineer. Right, I'm a current certified, but I'm not practicing. Hello? Yes, you heard it right. I'm not practicing. So you can't compare me, the electrical engineer, to someone that is practicing. I mean, I know the ratings, I know. these things are even changing, right? So until I shift and start practicing, then it's a different ball game. So an architect is not even the rightful person to help you go and do your building approval, or your brother that is just familiar with lands is I don't know. But the professional person who has the right, who is supposed to do that, is a town planner or a surveyor. Yes. Let a doctor do the function of a doctor. A lawyer do the function of lawyer. A surveyor is an experienced surveyor, is the one that should help you do the process of your building approval. A town planner. Yes, we have town planners. We don't talk about them so much, but that's their job actually. It's their job. They have the one that to do what? To help you do your building approval. So please, if you have been using your lawyer, I think you should stop it. Because if there's a problem tomorrow, you cannot defend it. Do you also know that when they go out to do this building approval, and they get the building approval, the processes and everything, do you know that there's an indemnity that the town planner or the surveyor gives to you in one of the papers you signed? So how do a lawyer come and indemnify such that when this, you have to follow this, da. If you follow this, if you don't follow this, they are not responsible. But if you follow this, they are responsible for the building 5-10 years down the line. But when you go and use a lawyer, or you go and use Goodness Usman that does not have any business with it, where do you get indemnification? I don't know if you guys get what I mean. I mean, I'm just of a school of thought that a professional should be engaged at every point in time. Anything you want to do, I believe you should speak to a real professional with it. I mean, you don't want to go have a surgery and then ask a regular physician to come and be your surgeon. I mean, we don't do those things when it comes to that. Exactly. So why building your beautiful home or a home you want to sell? Because some people also, when it comes to the house they want to live, they'll do things right. When it comes to the house they want to sell, they will not do it right. Well, let's leave that talk for another day. So, a town planner, I've just cleared, a town planner, a surveyor, those are the two people that is professionally fit to do a building plan approval. Not your family member, please, that have an idea that is used to. An architect, at least. But a lawyer, he said no. Family member, no. Marketer, no. Salesperson, no. Yes. Yeah. That's that on that. Honestly, I needed to stress that because I've seen so many my class say, oh, my lawyer is the one doing the building approval, he needs this, that. And then down the line when there's a problem, would I be hearing issue law times? But at that point, you tell you after all. Anyways, moving on. So now you know. Now some people have asked me what is the cost of building approval. You know, earlier I was talking about assessment, that when you submit all these documents, they will assess, of course, check your documents and all of that. Before they even give you approval, they will send the town planners, will send surveyors, they'll come to your site. They visit the site for assessment. So they want to do some checks. Okay, the things you have said, is it okay? Is it true? Is the kinikan? Is it da? Again, the surveyor will give us a folder. I know some people come and say, oh, why don't you read about it and give us a well, I just laugh. I don't like to be quoted. So you hear me that I'm not 100% telling you that. When they carry out the assessments, they go back and then they do correction sometimes, according to what they said. They can do the correction and say, oh, this needs to be put in place, that needs to be put in place. And then they, of course, and that's why sometimes one of these real estate companies you buy from, they say when you want to, before you submit your building plan, go for your building approval, you should come to the office with your building plan so that they can guide you. They already have an idea of what they will probably have an issue with. Once they guide you and you put those things in check, you do those things properly, when you get there, your stress will just reduce. So, yeah. For the cost, I can't tell you XYZ amount is what is needed. You know why? Because it's until when an assessment is done, that's when they will now give the billing. So, it's different. The cost differs on your design. First of all, the cost is predominantly determined by your design. So, if you're designing a house different from this person's house that I've gotten approval, how do you use the amount? You can't use the amount. So a lot of you have been asking me, give me. I cannot give you until, I can't even give you an idea. No, I've tried to speak to all of the professional surveyors, certified surveyors that I know, and they all say it's tough to give you because it's based on assessment. It's based on assessment. You might be building on a 900 square meter. You might be building on a 600 square meter. This is might be building on a 300 square meter. In fact, Two houses on the 300 square meter are never the same. Except if you say, oh, is this same house that I've done? Then I'll say, oh, this person have done this building approval. This is the amount. And the rates now, they are changing. So I can't come here openly and tell you this is what it can be. Even not openly, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't give you guys the cost. So in closing, the other question a lot of you have asked me is duration. Now we know that there can be a lot of drama about building permit approval, and there have been stories about how it takes ages. I recently found out that truly aviod, it doesn't even take years for building approvals to be out, to be honest. Yes, it doesn't take years. It doesn't take ages like some people claim. You know, what I realized is that those people that say it takes ages, it takes years, they are running away from doing the right thing. That's usually the case. Unfortunately, they're running away from presenting the right document. They probably don't have the title document. They don't have the rights. They don't have the survey. They are not ready to pay. That's why they say, oh, some people will just submit. And when they do assessments and give them the bill, they're not ready to pay. That's why they say it takes time. It doesn't really take time. If you get everything in place and ready, guess what? You can have your building approval right now in Lagos within 2 weeks. Yes, 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 and yes. Now, that means that all of what I've been talking about, you have carried it out, you have done the right thing, you have done the right checks, you have done all of those, you have guided yourself. By the time you, now this is not from the starting to the end though. I mean, when you put in your application and then you back it up with the right documents and then the call for assessment, you make your payment. Between when you make your payment and when your approval will be out is around 2 weeks. You can get it in 2 weeks. Yes, in 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, your building approval can be out. And that's depending on those criteria, you meeting up those criteria. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that I've been able to answer so many of your questions. I hope you have been able to get some level of education. You now know how some of these things work. And of course, going forward in August, you are not allowed to move to sites to start building. You are not supposed to lay any brick without your building approval. That is why Lagos State government is asking everyone to come and, you know, take cover under the amnesty. Okay, do the right thing, because after the amnesty is over, no stories. You must have your building approval ready. I mean, if it's going to be available in 2 weeks, what's the big deal? Anyways, so I advise everyone who is ready to build now. We have a lot of ready to build estate, Pick Royal, Pick Luxury, Queen's Garden, Annes. Now, Queen's Garden Annes in Isheri is slightly different. It's under Ogun State, so their own processes is different from that of Lagos State, but almost the same pattern that I just mentioned right now. You just need to, you know, ask your surveyor or the town planner what it is. They will guide you. I have town planners, surveyors I can recommend to you. I have civil engineers. I have architects I can recommend to you. I have someone who can carry out the soil test for you. Who else? Great engineers who can help you build your houses. I can recommend all of them. And that's why I'm trying to get them to come, to have time to come to this show, so that you can see them, they can speak, you can hear them speak, and then they have evidence of what they have done in the past, and then you can, you know, make your decision with them, especially people who are not around. You can always help you up with those processes. Now, if you want me to not be in charge to supervise, you're going to pay for that services, because it's not part of the package, okay? Even if you buy the land from me and you want my services, that's an extra service, because my services end. The contract end when I help you get your physical allocation. But if you want me to now start the processes of building with you, you're going to pay for my services. And of course, like I said, I'm going to just recommend those professionals for you. You do the bargaining and all that. Now, lastly, people will say, oh, give me bill of material. How much can it take? Assume it's tough to give all of those things, to be honest. Anything that has to do with money is tough right now. Giving you estimate, and a lot of these professionals, they avoid giving estimates so that you're not being quoted. And I know people, once you give them an estimate, when they come back maybe 10 years after, they will expect that the price is the same, and they start arguing, they start causing frustration and all of that. So I get it when they avoid giving estimates, you know. But when you're ready, they can say, oh, this XYZ amount can take you from foundation level to the first floor, and then from the first floor, you know, get those, or this can take you to do your entire foundation, or this is the foundation that is required for you, and all of that and all of that. They give you the processes and then see when you're done with your houses. So like I said, thank you so much guys for watching today's episode. Put it in the comment section. What do you think? What have you, is there a new thing you've heard today? Is there a new thing you've learned? Is there something you want to add to the processes I've talked about? And hey, is there a topic you want us to talk about? Do you have a question? Do you need anything that need us to explain? You want us to treat on the show? That's why the show is here. Put it in the comment section. Like this one we're treating today is from 2 or 3, about 4 people who asked about the same thing in different way, and that's why we're putting it together and explaining. So those of you who asked, I hope you've gotten your answers right now. I hope you're pleased. Contact me. Let me send the numbers of those professionals who can help you kickstart your home. Honestly, I'm looking forward to a lot of people this year building their house, and I pray that God will help you guys. He will provide for you all you need in terms of resources to complete this project alive in the mighty name of Jesus, or in the name of Allah for those who are Muslims. All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. My name remains Goodness Usman, the Queen of Landlord Acres, your beautiful host on the show, Tea Talk with Goodness Usman. So I'll see you guys in the comment section, or when you give me a call, or in the next episode, or in the next video that we're going to be uploading on this channel. Don't forget, we have great offers available for sale right now in Ekpe, Ibejuleki, Aja, houses, apartments, fantastic deals running now that you don't want to miss out on in any way, especially the democracy packages that we just rolled out. Please take advantage of them. Those ones that are still selling on pre-launch, take advantage of them. Those that are still selling on their prices, take advantage of them as well. Don't miss out on these deals. Don't wait too long, because if you do, you might miss out on these deals and you will have to pay more. And in this economy, nobody should be paying more, but they should be looking for how to pay lesser. And that's what we're telling you about them now that you know. All right. Please ensure that you remain safe and awesome just the way you are. So I say to you guys, oh, double.